Stephen Allison, U.S. military officials at Central Command headquarters now saying that major combat operations are continuing in Iran. Approaching day 3 of the war against that country, 6 American service members now confirmed dead, along with hundreds in Iran, Israel, our ally in the operation, and throughout the Middle East region. The attacks on more than 100 cities in Iran have been mostly by U.S. and Israeli warplanes flying off aircraft carriers in the Arabian Sea or from land bases operated by American forces across the region, and also by cruise missiles fired from carrier battle groups in the waters near Iran. In the first 24 hours, U.S. officials say there were 1,000 Iranian targets hit by American munitions. This afternoon, the War Department and the Pentagon not ruling out the need for ground troops at some point.
We're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people, this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go.
How do you think that this action, this operation against Iran differs from the 2 Gulf wars that we were involved in?
This one differs, first of all, in that there was not nearly the effort made by the Trump administration to, if you will, sell this to the American public. If you go back to 2003, there were a lot of efforts made by the Bush administration, both at home, to Congress, and even at the United Nations to try to build up the case for going to war with Iraq. None of that has happened in this case here. And so that is part of the reason why a lot of people aren't real sure what exactly is the goal of this operation.
Before the new U.S. airstrikes began, Iran had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman, according to American war planners. Tonight, Iran has 0 ships. They are at the bottom of the sea. Stephen.
Chuck Goudie with us. And you've reported, Chuck, from the Middle East. You were there in the region during the first Gulf War. You were there during the war in Iraq. I'd love to hear your perspective on just from your experience in the region. Put this into context for us. What are some of the differences that you're noticing between this current crisis and what you've seen before?
Well, the biggest difference for me, for a lot of Americans in uniform and their families, is that there were boots on the ground back then, a more intense close-up danger. That hasn't happened in Iran, although it's not off the table, as you heard. A second big difference is lead time. In Desert Storm, President George H.W. Bush spent months building coalitions and sending troops to Saudi Arabia. There was so much time, I was able to make 2 trips to the Arabian Peninsula, report on the buildup, and then be in position overseas to report the night the first war started. We hitched rides to military locations, saw the months of preparation up close. We met Chicago servicemen and women and spent time on battleships and aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. We had up-close access to a war in progress. Now, in Iran, you don't see this. With no U.S. boots on the ground and limited media, video of the military comes primarily so far from the military or social media. Safer for us maybe by not being there, but reporting from afar and taking government video does make for a more distant look at a war in its early stages.
We so appreciate your perspective, Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you.